Yo, 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 what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back to another week of Let's Chop It Up.
What's up, fellas? What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Let's Chop It Up. Guys, how was your week?
Exceptional.
Exceptional. Go ahead, Derek.
Exceptional. You know what I mean? So
go ahead. What happened, bro?
When you start a new gig, man, you know, something I love to do. Doing things I love to do. You can keep the weather though. You know what I mean? But I got in, but it was fantastic, man. You know, I think I told you before that I do work with developmentally disabled adults, and today I started helping them with jobs and, you know, being able to support them so that they keep their jobs and be productive members of the community and have dependents and all that. So so this is I'm very psyched about that, man. It's become a real passion thing for me, man. You know, so that's good. Beautiful. And other than that, just run around. Yeah. Thank you, man. Just like everybody else, shoveling snow, and you know, and I'm out here being a community leader, man, and settling disputes among neighbors. That's another thing.
That snow was heavy. That snow was heavy.
The COVID and the snow got people bugging. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Rod, how was your week, Rod?
My week was fine. Like you say, shoveling snow. I've been shoveling snow for probably like the last 2 days. And because, you know, after the snow melts a little bit, you can shovel a little bit more, you know. But I went to lunch today with my wife, and let me ask you guys a question. Does oxtails and mac and cheese go together?
It
can. The gravy can get into the mac and cheese.
It depends on the gravy.
This is the thing. Like on the menu, they had oxtails and mac and cheese, and they also have it with Rasta pasta. I don't know. It just doesn't seem to me like oxtails goes with pasta. Nah. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But you know, my wife said that a lot of people are making it.
They do. And know what I saw in Philly?
What's that?
Jerk chicken lasagna.
Wow.
I just want to step in and say we never, ever gonna get anywhere as a people.
No, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care what anybody says. Like mac and cheese and oxtails don't go together. It just doesn't go together. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, who wants gravy in their mac and cheese?
It kind of goes a little bit.
Ron, you gotta make it work, brother. You gotta make it work.
I guess I gotta.
We can make anything work. You know that.
I see that.
Work.
I see that.
Hey, Rod, you're very lucky to get oxtails in any West Indian spot without them sucking their teeth.
Well, no, we didn't get the teeth. No, we got the teeth sucking. That comes along with the meal.
The bad attitude is part of the flavor, right?
Well, Willie just said oxtails goes great with mac and cheese.
I like it, man. Word up.
Shout out to my brother Willie. What's up, Willie?
Shout out, Big Willie, South Carolina State. Yo, Kelvin, how was your weekend, man?
Big sexy.
Hey, I'm like everybody else. First of all, I'm giving everybody snow for Valentine's Day. It's just my little gift. That's the first thing. Secondly, it was cool. I've learned something. I shoveled my spot out in front of my own house, and somebody took the spot.
Definitely.
In light of things that have gone on in this country over the last couple of days, they can have the spot. And not only that, I also want to say the neighbors that stole the Red Bull machine, enjoy it. I'm just new. I realized I want no problems, no beef. Everything is good. Whatever happens, you know, God bless you anyway. Because it's real out here today.
Yeah.
Yo, I saw it was showing in Pennsylvania. A man got killed. A man and a woman got shot and killed this week over the snow, over shoveling snow.
Hey, man.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I almost saw it last night with my neighbors, man. I felt like it was gonna be a replay. I'm serious, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
You know, I watched that. I watched that video. It was terrifying. It was tragic or whatever. But you kind of see how there's a difference of relating to reality that white people have compared to black people. Like when that guy came out with that gun, I think most black people would have ran.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
Black people run from shit they don't see. You see
y'all running, we running.
Y'all ran off the screen right now. I'm leaving.
Exactly. As soon as people start running, especially somebody pulls out a gun. Let me tell you something. You could tell by the way he was moving, he was going to get something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I'd have been running then. You know what I'm saying? When he came back out, I wouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Right. Do you remember White Men Can't Jump when Raymond said, I don't know who telling the truth. I'm gonna get my gun and shoot everybody, and everybody left the park.
And everybody started running.
There
exactly.
you go. You don't wait to see the gun show up.
The
you know,
guys,
we want to do.
It's crazy. He said in the video twice, "Put the gun down. Put the gun down."
Yeah.
And then the guy started shooting. Like I don't get it. I'd have been out of there.
Yeah. Now, do you think this is like just COVID related, where people are just on edge, or you just think? Just
from what I understand, they were like having like long term disputes with this neighbor. So I don't know. It ended tragically. He wound up killing them, and then he killed himself. You know.
Now, let me say something. I respect you so much for the years you put into force, because I don't know how you respond to that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how you respond to that. Like, I had to get it off my phone. I didn't even want that evil on my phone. I just had to get rid of it.
That was something.
You know, unfortunately, the police department like it desensitizes you in some ways. You know what I'm saying? But you just got to dig a little deep and find some empathies. You know, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah. So on the chopping block, guys, did you see the guy that got jumped the girl in the liquor store just got caught? And Ronnie, you called good money on that.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts about that, and what you think is going to happen? So did they catch the rest of the guys? I don't even know.
I think they're still looking for two more guys. Yeah.
But
they caught him.
Disgusted by it.
Yeah, they caught him in Brooklyn. They caught him in Brooklyn at another young lady's house that he was beating on her too. So that's how they caught him, because she called the police for a domestic violence incident. So he was arrested in Brooklyn. But the way it's done is he still has to go back to Manhattan to answer for those charges in Manhattan. So I'm pretty sure, like we talked about this before, he got $3,000 bail. But I think the $3,000 bail is for the incident. It's for the incident in Brooklyn. It's not for the incident in Manhattan.
Got you. Okay, good. That's thank you for the clarity on that, man.
Yeah.
So is there total? Is he still behind bars? That's the question.
No, he's still in. He's still in. Last from what I read and what I researched is that he's got to get transferred to Manhattan to answer for the charges for the liquor store.
Okay, so when you have a high-profile case like this, and you did say that you knew that they were going to work this around the clock, what happens to a person like this that is a woman beater in all likelihood when they go into Rikers Island or they go into the system? I understand there's a lot of guys that are in because they have women they care about that are outside. They don't take kindly to this, or what's your experience with that, Rod?
I mean, I don't know about Rikers Island. I think once they start doing time, that's when they start to you really run into problems when you're doing time, and they find out what your as they say, what's your jacket would mean what you're in for. Mm-hmm. But you know, there's guys that's gonna have a problem with what he did. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But the thing is, when your case is high profile, you know, it puts pressure on the police to definitely catch you. And also too, when it comes to sentencing, you usually get more time when your case is high profile.
That's true.
And he was on the run.
Yeah.
You get more time if you of our color.
If you definitely if you're our color, you're definitely going to jail.
It's easier.
And if you're convicted, you'll probably get more time than a guy whose case wasn't as high profile.
Correct. Yep.
Right.
So go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to ask, lastly, Rodney or any of the gentlemen on the panel, what would you say to women that may be our viewers or women at large? How do you think you should handle a situation like that? Because it's really a no-win situation, but is there anything that people can, when they find a situation like that, is there anything we could suggest as far as, you know, their safety or just trying to get out of there? I mean, it was no-win situation, but, you know, anything?
Just don't engage. Keep it moving, because you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't understand that you may not, understand the frame of mind a person may be in, what they're dealing with, if they got some mental issues or whatever. You just don't know who you're dealing with.
But the scary thing was, I don't know that she engaged. I mean, she literally politely answered the question. So it's like,
The thing is, if I had to guess, there was some exchange of words, no thank you and whatever, and then I think there was more exchange of words once she got outside. I don't know what she said or whatever, but she did engage. I'm not saying that's the reason she got beat up. There's no excuse for that.
I can't imagine what she could have ever said.
There's nothing that she could have said that could have justified what happened.
If she'd have let him buy it, it would have been the same issue.
I'm not saying that either. Yeah, it's no thank you. You know what I'm saying? You guys have a good night and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I got you.
Speaking, since we're on the topic of fuck boys, the Proud Boys recently got into an incident with a Black Lives Matter activist down in Florida, and they clashed, and it seemed like the Proud Boys the Black Lives Matter people was the only ones first charged. They were the only ones charged, I think. Am I correct, guys? You have to correct me on this. And the Proud Boys were pretty much let go, and they had to drop the charges later. What do you guys think on that white privilege incident?
Who's surprised?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what else to say about that, man. Like, what other way was it ever going to go? You know what I mean?
Well, I told you there's a lot of police officers that are on the right. You know what I'm saying? They're Republicans. They, you'll be surprised how many officers probably side with the Proud Boys. You know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. How many are there? You know, we already know that. You know, in that crowd at the Capitol, you know, a bunch of them were police or police officers. A ton of them were military.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Military, police officers, firefighters.
Yeah.
You know?
So you already know. You know,
business people.
People. Yeah, these are these are your managers, your supervisors, or whoever, man. These, we already know.
This is what I think. I think first of all, we've got to get involved in local government. We've got to get involved in local police departments. There are neighborhoods that are 90% black and the police force is 95% white. I mean, we got to start getting involved in law enforcement. We've got to start getting involved in the judicial system. We live here. We got to get involved in this process. You know, we just can't always stand back on the sidelines and become just reactive. We got to really become proactive. Young people have got to get in this system to change it from within. I don't see any other way. It's that and it's ownership. Other than that, we'll just react. You've got to do like other communities. You got to leverage things. You got to vote as a block. We got to make sure that if you do something that is inappropriate, you're going to lose your elected position. Something you've got to feel it, because too often I think what happens when people do things to us, they expect us to march for a few days. They expect us to get some civil rights leaders together. They expect us to riot, loot, and break some stuff, and then forget about it until the next incident. And I think we've got to start, getting involved in this system. And I think that will get everybody's attention more so. I think that's the only option we have in this country across the board.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I totally agree.
Definitely.
So it was one more thing. I don't know if everyone saw this. It was a young black girl. She was 9 years old. It was in Rochester. I think it was Rochester, upstate New York, where this cop pretty much manhandled her, and this young girl was crying out to her father. It kind of gave me chills, almost going back to George Floyd. The man, he called for his mother. This young girl was in distress, and she called for her daddy for her protection. Any thoughts on that?
Was that the one? She was a 9-year-old girl. Is that
9-year-old girl?
I couldn't watch that, man. I couldn't even read it, bro. I couldn't read nothing about it. When I saw she was 9 years old, I couldn't even. No. I couldn't do it.
And Rodney, as a cop, what are your thoughts like when you with children and stuff like that?
First of all, a 9-year-old.
Former cop. Sorry.
Make sure you always say that.
Long time.
A 9-year-old is a juvenile, right? That's the bottom line. 9-year-old is a juvenile. There's not much legal action you can take against a 9-year-old besides doing basically a juvenile report. That's how it's done in New York City. I don't know what their rules are in Rochester, but I'm sure it's pretty similar. From what the mother said is that we saw in the video that she was screaming out for her father. She wanted to talk to her father. She wanted her father. She wanted her father. But they said that the mother said that she has mental breakdowns, right? So she was having a mental breakdown at that moment. But obviously the police didn't recognize that. And then they got her in the car. I know that there was a female officer on the scene that was trying to tell her to get into the car. And it seems to me like two of the officers or one of the officers just decided that he wasn't going to give a damn and decided he was going to mace her in order to calm her down, to pull her into the car. I mean, first of all, I don't know too many men that can't handle a 9-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you had to do was grab her from the top of her arms and just slide her back into the car. That's it. You know what I mean? Until her parents came or what have you. But to mace her in the back of a car while she's cuffed, no, that's just totally out of line. But they suspended 3 of those officers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
go ahead, Kelvin.
I'm sorry, D. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated with looking behind the curtain with law enforcement. And so, Rodney, you're the resident retired officer. So let me ask this question. Let's say you take 10 guys that come into the force, and let's say they just happen to come into the force because they really, really want to clean up the communities or do the right thing. What percentage of those guys, by the time they get some time in the job, start to change and all of a sudden just wind up becoming desensitized to everything and kind of lose some of that humanity or empathy? Out of 10 guys, provided that they came in with the right intentions, within three to 5 years, how many of them are still in that position, or give me a percentage of those 10 that have just changed and have just taken this and kind of got disconnected from what the job really is?
I'll be honest with you, Calvin. That's a hard question to answer, because the thing is, like, I can't get into the mind of every single body. I can go to what I see, but there's one thing that I did see throughout my career. The more educated you are about how things work, as far as like society, history, and it depends on how deeply you fall into the police culture, because that's what the police department is. It's a culture. Okay. And the deeper you fall into the culture, the more you adopt the us against them mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like me personally, I say majority of my career, like I always kind of saw it as a job. Now I didn't understand how things worked as far as the way the cities worked, politics worked, the department worked. And, a lot of information that cops spread amongst each other is not very accurate. And it's a lot of right-wing views. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So like I said, I say the cops that are more educated about the way things work, politics, communities, money a little bit too, because that plays a role. That's going to dictate how you think and how you treat the community.
Got you. Okay. Very, very well said. I'm sorry, D. Go ahead.
No. It was for your experience, Rob. Like, do you think, and both of us, we worked in schools and stuff like that. Do you think it's different when black officers are called dealing with children compared to white officers when they call dealing with our children? When they come to the black and Latino kids, do white officers treat them different?
I'm gonna say like I can't say that all white officers like that, because I'll be honest with you, I worked with some white officers and some of them was acting. This is the God's honest truth. Some of them were blacker than me. You know what I'm saying? The way they thought, the way they hung out with us or whatever, and it all had a lot to do with like their background, their upbringing, and stuff like that. So I can't kind of say that all white officers are bad, because that would be a lie for me to say that. Mm-hmm. And the thing is too, I met some brothers that basically ain't brothers. You know what I'm saying? They think along a different term, and I met some Hispanics that don't think like Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, certain people fall into the culture. Some people have ulterior motives where they're trying to work their way up through the department. Some people are very kiss-assy. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that come into play. But I do notice a difference, like I said, when dealing with certain kids and the way jobs are handled on the streets with, certain people. And like I said, I've seen some white officers that do an amazing job. And I'll be like, wow, this dude is dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like I said, to this day, I still have some guys that just happen to be white that are police officers or used to be police officers. And like I said, they probably blacker than me and you in the way they talk. And I can introduce you to them and you'll say the same thing, like, yo, this dude is different.
Yeah, exactly. Scott Randolph, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. I was thinking the same exact thing, brother. Yeah. Yo, Rodney, let me ask you a question though. How much do you think is an ambition a component to that? You know what I mean? Where people just kind of let things slide or whatever. How much ambition is involved? Ambition
as far as what, going up through the ranks,
just moving up rank or just getting light or whatever it is that makes you do what you do. You know what I'm saying, within the career.
Well, like I said, you got some people that brown nose, for certain positions. It's like any other job. In the corporate world, same thing. But as far as promotions, the first 3 promotional exams, you got to take an exam to get promoted. You know what I'm saying? Then after that 3rd exam, where you make it's sergeant, it's lieutenant, and then it's captain, you have to take an exam for. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, after captain, there's a glass ceiling. So basically, it's about a popularity contest. Who likes you? And then the Chiefs got to be with you. It's a game. It's just basically a game that got to be played. And the thing is, like I said, I've seen some brothers and sisters play that game like kind of well. They play it very well.
Yeah. So, Rob, let me ask you a quick question. Like we said before, that we both worked in schools and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we saw recently the young girl that got beat up by the cop and tased in Florida. And what are your thoughts on cops being inside schools?
Well, like me and Big Sexy Willie, we were in the unit, the school uniform task force. We was like in that first group where Mayor Bloomberg put cops in the schools. right?
Mm-hmm.
He put cops in, I think it was the top 10 worst schools in the city at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and to combat some of the crime and stuff that was going on in the school. And I'm going to say some of those schools we went into, some of those schools were out of control. They were out of control. Some of the students were, like super thugged out. But the thing is, I'm going to tell you right now, I do believe that an officer should be assigned to the schools,
Mm-hmm.
but not for the reason that they did it. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, cops can't be mediators, they can't be counselors. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So cops only can take action. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way the police officers are trained. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Don't mediate too many situations. We're not counselors. We're not trained to basically understand a kid's psyche and stuff like that. That's not the way it works. So me personally, if they're going to have some type of enforcement in the schools, and another thing too, the school rules, in my opinion, are entirely too lenient. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was bugging when I first heard about in-house suspension. Basically, you get suspended, you still come to school the next day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my school had it.
Yeah, so I that was foreign to me. I thought you got suspended. Like we would know that a kid got suspended, and then he'd be coming to school next day. We're like, is he supposed to be here? You know.
Sense.
But I remember at the time when we was in the schools, I was a cop, and I remember the sergeant like kind of analyzed the place, and she made, in my opinion, she made a good choice. She made decisions that we shouldn't be getting involved in interior situations, that the administration should be dealing with certain things. Like school safety should be dealing with certain things. Because like I said, cops are trained to react. They're not trained to mediate and stuff like that. So basically, they should have some sort of counselors in the school that can basically talk to these kids. They're more familiar with the students. The cops are not familiar with the students. They don't know who has issues, who has problems, who has maybe problems at home, who's been through certain things, you know what I'm saying? Because some of this behavior is as a result of, some of these kids' home life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, and we worked at certain schools, and one thing I like with that you had, and I give you guys props for, you had a thing like it was called like the cops in the community. I forgot what we called it, but you guys came in and talked to my kids directly and educate them how to deal with police and listen to certain kind of words. Because once the kids have the information and how to deal with the cops, it was a different kind of conversation, and a different and so that was really big of you guys when y'all came in there back in the day.
Yeah. But like I said, I do believe a cop should be assigned to schools for safety reasons, like God forbid a mass shooting or someone wanders in from the outside. In other words, the cop should be there to protect the school from some sort of outside threat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.